here we go, we're heading out. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. You wake up and the sun comes up and it's just like you're working. You don't even realize, but like you're awake.
Whitehead is my home. It's pretty much breathtaking, especially in the morning when the sun's coming up. It's just beautiful. We start staying at the hut during lobster season, like right when it starts. There was several huts on the property before this one, so it's kind of interesting because like you think, I wonder who was living here before. I plan on staying here as long as I can.
There's a lot of reasons to keep me in Nova Scotia. I love that it's rural and it's more just like a series of small communities where everybody respects each other and they're so happy to see you on the street. I think that's where the East Coast reputation starts. My first time fishing lobster with Dad, I can just remember being nervous. I knew how good my older siblings were and they had all their experience under their belt already. I definitely looked to my older sister and she showed me the ropes, and I can remember her telling me like, oh yeah, when the trap comes up, Dad opens that trap, like he likes when you take the bait bag and put it on top of the trap for him so he doesn't have to go get it himself.
I am the only kid my age in Whitehead. Some people live in Whitehead here and they don't go out in a boat or anything because they can't. They don't have a father for a fisherman. And I do, so I can go out whenever I please. It's just what I do. I love it. I always thought Daddy was, he knew everything, and I wanted to be just like my daddy.
Hurry up before they cover them all up!
And now it's kind of nice too because some people say that I'm a lot like him. Things are pretty much the same here since I've lived here all my life. We still do the same things, and I don't know, that's the way I like it. When I was younger, my father actually had traps for each of his daughters. The money that came from my trap would go to me, and the money that came from my other sister's traps would go to them. So it gave us something to look forward, so we had to make a log for each day and how many pounds we got so we could have that money later on.
I want more fishy. He just wants more fishy. She'll empty the boat for you. More fishy.
I like being able to say that I fish. It's just not a traditional job for women. I think it's changing now, but it just, yeah, it's always been like that. Everybody's from Antigonish. Dad fished, his father fished, and my great-grandfather fished, all in the same area. And so, like, fishing has been part of the MacDougall family for a long time. It was, you know, something that I was introduced to, fortunately, and I love it, and it makes me happy. The guys respect you. Aside from people just kind of taking you a little less serious or not assuming that you could have handled it in the first place, doesn't feel different at all.
Yeah, a pretty one, like a pretty pink one or blue. Okay, make sure they don't die though.
Yeah, we'll give them mouth to mouth. All right.
Okay, see you later.
For top sirloin roast, just $3.99 a pound. Cottonelle bath tissue 12 double rolls, Kleenex Ultra Soft 3-ply 670 sheet packs, or Scott paper towel 6-pack, selected varieties just $4.77. Plus stock up on Wonder Plus bread, selected varieties 570 grams for just $1.99. Prices in effect until Thursday, May 31st.
He's adorable.
Some at the general public or DFO even fully respect who we are and what we're contributing to society, to the world. You know, the old story: if you ate today, thank a fisherman or a farmer, and that's what it boils down to.
There's a lot of overregulation in some other fisheries. You know, you can't do what you used to do. We weren't the ones that ever destroyed the fishery, the hook and line, and we have more regulations, I think, than anybody, or just as much. The people that are making the rules don't do the fishing. They should actually have to go fishing for a year. How can you tell somebody how to run a business if you haven't done it? Fallon's been fishing off and on for 3 years, I guess, 3 or 4 years. So it's hard work. You know, it's cold and miserable. The first month of the spring, it's, you know, it's I don't really like to see them out there, actually, but she gets sick some days, but she still does her work, and she wants to do it, so never discourage anybody that wants to do something, I guess.
For a period of 3 years straight, all 4 children were my crew, and those are definitely my fondest memories. Grace is the youngest of 4, and she learned from the other ones. She loves fishing, loves it so much that she's probably thinking career. If an old man can do it, which there's a lot of old men doing it, why couldn't a female do it, right?
Got to keep going. It's only 2 months. It's 2 months, that's it. Travis is from New Harbour, 30 minutes from Whitehead. Travis has been fishing with Dad ever since we got together. Working with my boyfriend is kind of awkward because I'm on the boat and I look like crap, and you know, but after a while I guess it doesn't really matter because, you know, he loves me or whatever, so it doesn't really matter what I look like. He's into the same things that I'm into, so he hunts, I fish, he fishes. He loves the ocean, I love the ocean. When you're out fishing, it's such a long day. You gotta wake up at like 3:30 in the morning. You go out and you're like, oh my God, this day's never gonna end, and it just started. But then when you get in, you're like, oh, it feels so good to be done, and you're proud that you finished the day. It's awesome. I love that feeling. I finished the day of hard work. Yeah, just take us over to the gully. All right, see you later. I can still do photography when I'm fishing. It's just kind of the best of both worlds kind of thing, because I can fish and I can do photography all at the same time.
What did you say there? Make a hole with the cap.
I have a really good relationship with Dad. Since I fell in love with fishing, he's more like a mentor, on and off the boat too. Just have so much fun working with each other.
Yeah, that bangs against.
We can just joke around with each other super easily, and we definitely have an understanding.
I think there's probably going to be less fishermen down the road. I think there seems to be a move to streamline or to modernize the fishery so that there's less dependent on it. I'm not sure if that's a good thing myself. Maybe I'm a utopian dream, but I'd like to see everybody who wants to do it still be able to do it.
Whether or not it was a good season or a bad season, regardless, it's done, and you just feel so good that it's done. She'll have lots of eggs tomorrow. I mean, next year. Next year. It's right on the line.
Is this good?
Oh, it's delicious. Yeah, it'll work.
the shore captain, Mom. She always has a big scoff for us. And then we'll have a glass, or 5. It's just like you sit back and you analyze the season, and like everybody's here that was helping us. And so it's not a rip-roaring party, but it's fun, and we'll hang out here and just kind of relax, kick back.
I've been living in Dartmouth now since September. I miss home so much. I went home for a weekend and I hadn't been home for like 2 weeks. Dad took me out to the hut. When I walked on the wharf, like I felt sick to my stomach because I was just so glad to be home. I've been taking photography at the NSCC waterfront campus. I've been here for 6 months, I guess, or maybe a little more than that. I don't like it. I go home like pretty much every weekend if I can, but I mean, it gets pretty costly, so it's time to slow down a little bit, unfortunately.
Why don't I just do what I want to do and fish, and that's where the personal training course came in. So I took that and it's like I could pair this with it. 2 jobs that you do work your own hours in lobster and stuff, but like, yeah, you kind of get to work your own hours in personal training, and I just felt that they'd be compatible. Like every day that there's, lobsters coming in the traps and everybody's happy, and if there's a good tune on the radio, turn it up. And yeah, it's like when you're most busy is when you're catching lobsters, and that's the funnest because that's what you want every day. What I'm doing right now has a lot to do with where I came from and who I came from. It's just what he did, and it's what we did for our first jobs, and it's just what I do.
Lies, well, they're just ingrained in us, and well, it could just be me overthinking things, but I think I know more than ever now.